So in case you haven't seen anything adorable today, let's start here. You're looking at twin pandas being shown to the public for the very first time since being born on July 7th. Not only are the cubs cute in the presence of 4 people, they're even more cute when just left with 2. And exceptionally cute in a basket on the ground, where the sisters nuzzle up against one another. I say sisters because yes, they're both girls. Their names are Rui Bao, which means wise treasure, and Hoi Bao, which means shining treasure. And despite the fact they were born at a theme park, like so many of our prominent pirates and wizards, their names weren't pulled out of a chest or a book of spells. Back in August, there was a contest where anyone could submit a potential name for them via a Google form or a YouTube comment, and those names were winnowed down to a series of online polls. And the winner, of course, would go on to receive their very own panda cushion. A panda cushion. Wow. Anyway, so says this panda keeper here. Yes, he's called a panda keeper. The twins are in stable condition since being born about 100 days ago. For the time being, they're still feeding on milk and need some more care before they can start eating bamboo, which is pretty much all they'll eat for the rest of their lives. The World Wildlife Fund notes that a panda's daily diet consists of anywhere from 12 to 38 kilograms of bamboo, or roughly 26 to 84 pounds. They enjoy everything from the leaves to the stems to the shoots, leaving just 1% of their diet open to other foods, like different plants and rodents, which makes sense. After 84 pounds of foliage, who wouldn't want a little mouse salad as a nice dessert? The panda keeper says the twins are crawling now, they've opened their eyes, and their teeth are starting to grow. Once they hit the 4-month mark, they'll start figuring out how to walk and will be returned to their mother. And as soon as they start being able to follow their mom around, the public will get to see these little girls again. And here's what they looked like right when they were born, with their tiny tongues and everything. So yeah, I hope this filled up your quota of cute footage for the day, because until we see him again in public, I'm afraid the only clips I've got left at my disposal are of ugly things, like this, and this. Sorry, okay, let's go back to the cute stuff. Because there's actually a lot going on here with these pandas. And no, not just precious tiny cuddles and waves, I'm talking international diplomacy. Yeah, panda politics. So these twin cubs were born in South Korea, and they're the children of the female giant panda Ai Bao and her partner Li Bao. But these giant pandas don't belong to South Korea. Instead, they're available on lease. Kind of like your Chevy Blazer, which, with a 4,500-pound towing capacity, can theoretically drag about a month's worth of bamboo for 2 grown pandas behind it when equipped with the right engine and optional trailering package. Anyway, these giant pandas belong to China, the only country on Earth that the animals are native to. And since 1941, China has engaged in something known as panda diplomacy. It's effectively a barometer of international relations. Our countries have good relations? Okay, here's a panda. The History Channel says it's been going on as far back as the 7th century, and panda diplomacy entered our modern era back in 1941. That's when, right before the US entered World War II, to thank China's American friends for alleviating the suffering of our people and binding our wounds, Chiang Kai-shek's wife presented the Bronx Zoo with a chubby pair of comical black and white furry pandas, which were to be installed, quote, as man and wife. The husband was named Pandi and the wife was named Panda, and their names were also the result of a nationwide contest. Pandi and Panda beat out other clever options like Eleanor and Frank, and this contest, put on by CBS Radio, was won by an 11-year-old girl out of Indiana, who received a 3-day trip to New York for a christening party to name the bears, which is a hell of a lot more fanfare than getting a cushion. Anyway, throughout the 50s, pandas were a common gift from China to its communist allies, and during Richard Nixon's famous trip to China in 1972 to normalize relations with the country, Nixon's wife saw some pandas on a box of cigarettes, told the Chinese premier that they were cute, to which he replied, "I'll give you some pandas, not some cigarettes." Though I do wonder what would have happened if that was a box of Camels. Regardless, like 2 months later, a couple of pandas named Ling Ling and Xing Xing were shipped to the National Zoo in Washington, D.C., and went on to receive millions of visitors over the years. The US also sent China an animal gift of our own, 2 musk oxen. Not as cute, but not as cute at all. Though to be fair, 2 musk oxen aren't the worst diplomatic gifts to have been given away in years past. In 2008, the Prime Minister of Singapore gifted President Bush an abs exerciser. In 2009, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton presented the Russian foreign minister with this big red button. It was supposed to say reset, to symbolically reset and normalize relations with the country, but instead it was mistranslated to actually mean overloaded or overcharged. And in this jungle village on the Pacific island of Tanna in the Republic of Vanuatu, home of the Prince Philip movement, which believes the prince was the son of an ancient mountain spirit and something of a god, fulfilling an ancient tale after locals saw colonial portraits of him and Queen Elizabeth back in the 1960s. Anyway, they gifted the prince a penis sheath. Oh, we were talking about pandas, right? Panda diplomacy, not Prince Philip penis theology. Right. Anyway, China gave away pandas for keeps until 1984, the year the country switched to offering up their little furry friends for 10-year loans for around $1 million a year. And no matter where a loner panda was stationed, if a cub was born, it would nevertheless be considered a Chinese citizen. And so, when these arrangements are up, the repo man comes calling and the pandas go back to China. Like this panda named Xing. In late September, 3-year-old Xing, born in May of 2020 in the Netherlands, was given a ceremonial send-off before its return to China, where it'll soon take part in a breeding program to help preserve the vulnerable species. As noted by this Chinese diplomat with regards to China's relationship with the Dutch,
Panda is a symbol of friendship and cooperation between our two peoples.
Today here in the States, that symbol of friendship, that beautiful creature Pat Nixon observed in a zoo and then on a cigarette box, is being strained.
I believe that the Chinese may well be pulling back from pandas at Western zoos. I don't see them doing the same thing with places like Doha and Thailand. So there seems to be, with the United States, the UK, something going on here.
That's an expert on US-China relations at Georgetown University, who notes that right now, panda diplomacy between our two countries is not so hot.
Now, the Chinese are angry with us. They're angry over the semiconductor restrictions, the number of sanctions that the Biden administration has placed on Chinese individuals, problems Chinese have now getting visas to the United States. So it could well be possible that they're trying to send a signal.
And this isn't just about panda politics, it's about the pandas themselves. Back in 2003, this so-called Panda Express, operated by FedEx, not DoorDash, airlifted a 4-year-old male panda named Li and a 2-year-old female panda named Yaya to the Memphis Zoo for what turned into a 20-year loan. But back in April, Yaya said goodbye, or rather just kind of stood there as it's just a panda, before being expressed back to China. And yeah, if you think Yaya looks kind of rough there, yeah, she's giving off those Ben Affleck meme vibes here. Animal welfare groups for years have called into question how Yaya's been treated in the States, and while the zoo denies any mistreatment, you might notice that Yaya's alone. Well, it just so happens that Li died back in February of heart disease at the age of 24. Yeah. And come this December, the 3 pandas at the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. will be returned to China as well, bringing 50 years worth of panda diplomacy to an apparent close, at least for now.
Yes, the pandas have really become a part of life in the Washington area, and in part of the life of America. And you know, our children love to go and see those pandas. And so this story has real resonance with the American public, which is one of the reasons why I think Beijing really needs to reconsider its position.
As for those tiny twin pandas in South Korea, their parents are also on a 15-year lease from China. And it's expected that little Roy Bao and Hoi Bao will also be returned before they reach the age of 4 as well. It's not exactly clear yet how and when relations between the West and China may normalize again to the point at which panda diplomacy recovers. So until that happens, I hope you like penis sheaths and ab rollers.